The progressive talking points will be all over these opening statements from Democrats throughout the hearings to confirm Brett Kavanaugh to the Supreme Court. They have a narrative to support, and they're hoping to use his confirmation not just to get B-roll for campaign footage for 2020, but as a way to galvanize their base in the upcoming midterm elections. They have to make people believe the process was not transparent, that Brett Kavanaugh somehow wants to chain women to tables and force them to give birth while outlawing birth control and handing every newborn a Glock or an AR-15. There were literally women dressed up as characters from Margaret Atwood's ridiculous Handmaid's Tale. I am so tired of these social justice women's studies flunkies dressing up like this. It's not Halloween, for crying out loud. Honestly, can you people pick another damn book, like pick something else to dress up as? Seriously, because this is literature 101. Anyway, they dressed up like this during today's hearings because I don't know, did they think it was cosplay? Did they think that they were at a Comic-Con? They live in a fantasy world where they're oppressed by a man whose most controversial act thus far has been to buy baseball tickets on a credit card. It's unhinged, as always, and it's exactly what we expected. Watch, it's crazy.
I welcome everyone to this confirmation hearing on the nomination of
Mr. Chairman.
Brett Kavanaugh.
Mr. Chairman.
To serve as Associate Justice.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be recognized for a question before we proceed.
Regular order,
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be recognized to ask a question before we proceed. The committee received just last night, less than 15 hours ago, 42,000 pages of documents that we have not had an opportunity to review or read or analyze.
You're out of order. I'll proceed.
I haven't been in as many confirmation hearings as some of my colleagues, but this is the first confirmation hearing for a Supreme Court justice I've seen basically according to mob rule.
Distinguished judges, Mr. Chairman, I think we ought to have this loudmouth removed. I mean, we shouldn't have to put up with this kind of stuff.
What we mostly do around this body is not pass laws. What we mostly do is decide to give permission to the secretary or the administrator of bureaucracy X, Y, or Z to make law-like regulations. That's mostly what we do here. We go home and we pretend we make laws. No, we don't. We write giant pieces of legislation, 1,200 pages, 1,500 pages long, that people haven't read, filled with all these terms that are undefined, and we say the secretary of such and such shall promulgate rules that do the rest of our dang jobs.
Brett Kavanaugh didn't even speak until like 4:30. No joke. That's when 4:30 Central was about the time that he made his actual opening statements, because lawmakers spent all day long preening in front of the cameras. The first hour and a half alone, Democrat senators consistently and continually interrupted every single person that spoke to demand that confirmation hearings be delayed. And I mean, right from the start, it was theater. Complete and total theater. The theater culminated, by the way, this went on and on and on and on to at one point there were protesters, numerous protesters, including who's the chick that danced on the bar, Piper Paraboo or whatever her name is, and then Linda Sarsour, who ironically defends Sharia law while simultaneously blasting Brett Kavanaugh because she says he's against women or something to that particular effect. So you had people who were heckling Kavanaugh all day long, people who were heckling his family. They had to be escorted from the room.